What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we've got another live fantasy football mock draft for you back on Fantasy Pros with a 12-team half PPR mock where we will be selecting 6th overall. Should be really interesting. Our roster: 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, and then 5 bench spots. But that's pretty much it. So let's get into it. And while we wait for this draft to load, a quick reminder: if you enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at alldaypigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear in the comment section you agree, disagree, along with any other questions you guys might have. We'll do our best to answer them all. But with that being said, let's kick this thing off officially. Let's look at the draft board really quickly. And you can see here we have got some movement. In fact, we've got a nice little new layout for the Fantasy Pros draft board. Christian McCaffrey at the 101, Breece Hall at the 102. I like to see that. You know, this is much more in alignment with my own personal rankings, still valuing the running back position, and Breece Hall slightly ahead of Bijan Robinson. Then CeeDee Lamb at the 103, followed by Bijan. So pretty close after Breece Hall. 3 running backs in the first 4 spots. Honestly, like that's how I would have it as well. Then Tyreek Hill at the 105. So typically, you know, I'm used to at the 106 spot having my choice of Breece or Bijan Robinson 9 times out of 10. That is not the case here. And instead, looking at the cheat sheet, we are, I think, going to be going wide receiver because, in my opinion, it's too early for Jonathan Taylor. It's too early for Gibbs or Barkley. So right now, the 2 best values at wide receiver, I think, are Jamar Chase and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'll give the slight edge to Jamar Chase. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to be great as well. It's really close, but you know, I think that maybe Jamar Chase has slightly higher upside, and then hopefully with a healthy Joe Burrow, it will be a stellar combination as always. So now moving on to the second round of this draft. Let's quickly again take a look at our draft board. After we went Jamar Chase, it was actually Justin Jefferson, not Amon-Ra, at the 107. Then Kyren Williams at the 108. Now, I got to call that one out. We don't see... Kyren Williams shouldn't be going ahead of Jonathan Taylor or Jahmyr Gibbs or Saquon Barkley, in my personal opinion. Then 109, Garrett Wilson. I feel like Wilson's ADP is kind of all over the place. He could be a middle first-round selection, end of the first-round selection, or early second-round selection, depending on which platform you draft on, right? So here he goes at the 109. Then we see Amon-Ra, followed by Puka Nacua and Jonathan Taylor. Then the second round kicks off with A.J. Brown at the 201. Marvin Harrison at the 202. I absolutely hate that. Too early, in my opinion, for him. Jahmyr Gibbs at the 203. Drake London at the 204. You know, his stock is going up, Drake London. I personally agree with that. You know, I look at the wide receivers that are kind of left in this category, and I think after A.J. Brown and Puka, there's a huge drop-off in tiers. So either way, I think that you're left in like that tier 3 group of wide receivers. I think London has the highest upside out of all of those guys, so I don't mind the selection. I'm just typically used to seeing him go a little bit later, again, depending on the platforms. Achane at the 205, again, too early in my opinion. I would have gone Saquon Barkley, and then Jalen Waddle earlier than I'm used to as well. But, you know, you're going to see things like this from time to time. Also with platforms updating their rankings, we're going to see some players going a little bit higher, a little bit lower than we have for the past, you know, month and a half too. So here, I need a running back. You know, just as a reminder, we went with Jamar Chase. I'm going Saquon Barkley here. I think he's by far and away the best running back left. We're lucky that he fell to us, so I immediately go with Saquon Barkley. And now let's see what we have available to us in the third round. We went Barkley, then it was Devontae Adams, Travis Etienne, Brendan Ayuk, Derrick Henry, and Chris Olave. Not really too much to say in regards to the players that were selected afterwards. Josh Allen at the 301. I always say this. I hate to be the first person that selects the tier 1 quarterback. I think if you just wait for the second or third tier 1 guy, you're going to be much better off than Rachaad White, Jacobs, and Isaiah Pacheco. I was hoping either White or Pacheco would fall to me. That doesn't happen. Laporta goes at the 305. Let's look at our cheat sheet. I'm not the biggest Mike Evans fan. I think that, you know, there's a potential decline coming here at some point in time. I'm looking at these running backs. The two names that stand out to me are James Cook and Alvin Kamara. So, kind of just talking out loud, probably, I think there's going to be more likely a running back run as opposed to a wide receiver run. So maybe we can land a Malik Neighbors in the next round or a Cooper Kupp in the next round. Here in the third round, we go with the James Cook or an Alvin Kamara. And then I think that, again, it's deeper at the wide receiver position. That's why I mention it. So I'm going to look at running back, and I'm looking at Mixon. I'm looking at James Cook and Alvin Kamara. Let's go with, I'm going to go with James Cook to switch things up a little bit. Ooh, Alvin Kamara is still on the board. That's interesting. I might go with Alvin Kamara, honestly. I think that's pretty tempting. I mean, having three really good running backs here. I know that Michael Pittman is still there. I know that Debo and DJ Moore are also still there, but I'm getting a little bit running back greedy. I've already got Jamar Chase, so I feel decent about that. James Conner went at the 406. He should not have. How did Montgomery and James Conner go ahead of Alvin Kamara? That makes zero sense. But all right, Mark Andrews at the 307, Mahomes at the 308, Joe Mixon, Kelsey at the 310, Kenneth Walker, Mike Evans, Montgomery, Trey McBride at the 402, Nico Collins at 403, Jalen Hurts 404. Keep in mind, again, a full round after Josh Allen. Cooper Kupp at the 405, James Conner at the 406. I mean, here I'm going to secure my last running back, and I'm going to get what I think is three really good running backs, in Alvin Kamara, Saquon Barkley, and James Cook. And then we are rolling, and we can just start going best available wide receiver at this point in time. Because, again, I think we hit a point where there's a big drop-off in running back talent. So I'm happy we got our three running backs, but all proven guys, Barkley, Cook, and Alvin Kamara. Now we can go with some high upside wide receivers. I like Malik Neighbors. I like George Pickens. So I'm going to go with, let me quickly take a look here at the wide receivers. Again, there's also Devonta Smith, but I want to go with a number one guy like, Devonta Smith. I've already got Saquon Barkley as well, so I don't want to load up too much on the Philadelphia offense. So again, I'm looking at George Pickens. I'm looking at Malik Neighbors. I think George Pickens is the safer play. I think Malik Neighbors is the higher upside play. I'm going to go with probably an unpopular choice, but George Pickens ahead of Malik Neighbors. I think that's a little bit of a, again, safer choice. I don't need that huge boom or bust like type of guy. I've already got Jamar Chase, so I'm going George Pickens. And then let's see what happens here at wide receiver, at quarterback, tight end, whatever. So after we went Pickens, Malik Neighbors went immediately afterwards. Dalton Kincaid. I mean, Kincaid was on my board, but I wanted to wait a little bit. Then Aaron Jones, DeAndre Swift, Devonta Smith, C.J. Stroud, Raheem, Anthony Richardson, Zay Flowers, Tank Dell, Zach Moss goes pretty early, Joe Burrow. I feel like Zach Moss is another one of those guys that his ADP is all over the place. I think right now the really good value is on wide receivers. Let's look at tight ends, but tight end Kittle, Pitts. I'm hoping either Pitts or Evan Ingram can fall to me. It's a bit of a gamble. I think right now the really good value is Christian Kirk, to be honest with you guys. I know that if I wait, he's not going to make it back to me. So I've already got Jamar Chase, so going T. Higgins doesn't make too much sense. So I went with Christian Kirk, and then I anticipate there's going to be a tight end run, but, it is what it is. Deontay Johnson's still there at wide receiver. I would have preferred to have gotten Kyle Pitts on this offense or on this squad since I already have Christian Kirk, and Evan Ingram is just a little bit too Jacksonville happy. But right now, he's by far and away, in my opinion, the best tight end. I need a tight end. I've done a good job of loading up on, just to show you guys, some wide receivers after we waited. So we got Chase, Pickens, and Christian Kirk. So I'm going to go with Evan Ingram here. I think that's a solid pick, and I think it addresses an area of need for us. And I think he's the best available tight end left by far and away. So we're going with Evan Ingram. Now let's see what happens here. Again, pulling up the draft board. Jonathan Brooks also would have been a solid pick at the 802. I've seen him go much earlier. Like, he shouldn't be going after Nick Chubb, even though I do think Jonathan Brooks is going to be a post, like, week 8, week 9 type of player. Right now, Hollywood Brown, Jaden Reed. I believe Deontay Johnson is still there. So that's a pick that I like. I think solid value. So let's go in that direction. Yeah, we're going to go with Deontay Johnson. Running our wide receiver, excuse me. There we go, Deontay Johnson. So continue to just load up on value. Running backs, let's see if there's anyone that we really like that's still left. I continue to say Chuba Hubbard's going to be a solid start of year player. I really do believe that. Tight ends, I mean, we've already got Evan Ingram, so I don't really have to look here. Running backs, Chuba Hubbard, I mentioned his name already. Wide receiver, maybe Ladd McConkey as a rookie flyer. We could also go quarterback, but I can wait on quarterback, and that can be my final pick. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go with Chuba Hubbard right now. Then we're going to go with whoever is left at wide receiver. And then we will go ahead and address the quarterback spot afterwards. And again, I said Chuba Hubbard's going to be the best, running back for Carolina because, he was the lead guy last year. And Jonathan Brooks would not be shocked at all if he starts on the PUP. He is going to be the rookie running back you draft that you pray really breaks out at the end of the year for your playoff run. If not, in Dynasty, like, he's a much better play because I think in 2025, I guess it would be, it's going to be the Jonathan Brooks show. But for now, Chuba Hubbard will be a factor for the first part of the season. I really, really do believe that. Tight end, again, we don't really need another tight end. I mean, I guess we could go TJ Hawkinson as a stash type of guy and do it that way. Yeah, you know what? Why not? Let's stash Hawkinson. He can be your kind of, if you have an IR spot, something like that. So we'll go with Hawk. And then, we could have gone Ladd McConkey. I kind of forgot I had mentioned his name. Other names at wide receiver, I don't mind Curtis Samuel, right? Like, I think he's a solid wide receiver. Add something, Josh Palmer as well. We could go with a high upside quarterback like a Jaden Daniels and then an Aaron Rodgers, which I think I might honestly do that. Let's go with a high upside quarterback in Jaden Daniels because of the rushing ability, and then we're going to go with a safe quarterback choice like an Aaron Rodgers, a guy that I'm pretty high on. I think is going to, exceed expectations. Really good offense. So we're going to do it that way. And again, as a reminder, our squad, Saquon Barkley, James Cook, Jamar Chase, George Pickens, Ingram, Alvin Kamara, Christian Kirk, Deontay Johnson, Chuba Hubbard, TJ Hawkinson, and then now Aaron Rodgers. Let's see the grade we get. And again, this was a 12-team draft. We get an A+ grade. I really do like our roster for what it's worth. Or I guess we don't get a A+ grade, but I haven't logged in so we could see our full draft grade. Either way, this is a squad that I like. I think it's, at least a B+. I really like it. Could be in an A- territory. Let me know your thoughts along with any other questions you guys might have. We'll do our best to answer them all. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. But in the meantime, we'll see you guys in future videos.